Look, ready, buddy?
Ah. Hello and welcome to OmniDog's Vault, Baturdays in the BatCave featuring Bat Sam.
Woo! You got his DC shirt on.
Live appearance of Bat Sam right there before he puts the keyboard in his mouth and walks away with it.
Here are his Batman socks.
Nice.
All right, buddy. Say goodbye. Say hi. Say hi.
Hey, Sammy, what's going on, dude?
Say hello. Say hi.
Hey, Sammy, you want to see my friendly?
Oh, look at his venom.
Ah!
Wow. Wow.
Oh, he's smiling.
Look at that, buddy.
Do you like Toxin? He's supposedly the most powerful and deadly symbiote.
Wow, buddy. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go walk to Murdoch now. Here. Go to Mama Murdy. There he goes.
Whoa, there he's
and he's gone.
What's preventing him from going down the staircase?
Oh, nothing. Murdoch's right there. Kate's in the hallway. My wife's in the hallway.
You're not worried about him going down the stairs by himself?
No, my wife's in the hallway and she grabbed him.
Oh, okay.
Sam, just go off by yourself and go play.
That's what I was worried about. That's funny.
Yeah, don't report me to Child Protective Services. My wife's in the hallway and she grabbed him. Don't worry about it.
Here's a great comment already. The altar boy wonder.
Murdoch's here too. Want to say hi, Murd?
Hey, Murd, what's up?
Say hi, buddy. You ran out in the street yesterday, didn't you? He gave me a scare yesterday. He ran out into the street.
Oh, my gosh.
I forgot to put his electric fence collar on, and I was just walking Sam a little bit down the road while Murdoch was in the yard. Usually it's fine because he has his invisible fence collar on, but I turn around and I see him sprinting down the road at me. So I got to get him back in, though. How about? Well, we're here for our second straight Baturdays in a row, huh, Jess?
Yeah, Gary Sandberg's ready. Got my coffee, snack, and pot. On with the show.
Oh, nice.
Good for you, Gary. Let's see. Yeah, we're on for like the second week. Usually we have OmniCat on, but OmniCat is not feeling well today and had to call in sick, and I'm actually concerned about her, so I hope she's okay. She feels well enough to post on the page, but that's about as good as she feels. Like, she can type, but she couldn't possibly be on the air.
Right.
She's just not feeling well, and I hope she's going to be okay. It's not my place to say what's going on with her, but I just am hopeful that she is okay and that she doesn't feel worse and starts to feel better.
Well, being sick in this era of life make things a lot more complicated. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where, like, you know, the symptoms of COVID is pretty much the symptoms of everything. You know what I mean? That's the difficult thing. It's like, oh, I have a runny nose today, or I have a little bit of a cough, or you just never know what it could be. That's what makes it a little more difficult than it used to be.
Yeah. So the Minister of Comics agreed at the last minute to elbow his way in and be my co-host. So I appreciate that. And Kristen's getting a lot of get well wishes in the chat. Best wishes to OmniCat. Hope all is well over there.
Yes. Do you see Kenny Crayley's question about Nightwing? I know we're not big Nightwing experts, but do you have any advice for him at 6:05?
First, he says, hope she gets well. Let's see, where is that?
6:05.
Okay. I'm looking to start reading Nightwing, Dick Grayson. Where'd you go?
I missed that. Closing the door real quick.
Oh, okay. I'm looking to start reading Nightwing, Dick Grayson as solo books. I have read his appearances in New Teen Titans and DC Rebirth, the first arc. Where do I start reading about him post-crisis? I think I know. I just post-crisis. Yeah, the books are still available, except for one of them. Let's see, where's my phone? I just filed them away in the big refile. Nightwing, I believe, has 8 trades by Chuck Dixon, and I think only number 2 is a little iffy to find. Let me see where I put Nightwing. There it is. Okay, so there was New 52 Nightwing. That was also by Chuck Dixon. Oh, let's see. Come here, you. There we go. Okay, that freaking thing.
At least you're not talking to Siri or whatever.
Oh, right. Nightwing, New 52 was by Kyle Higgins. He's a good writer. I haven't read it.
Omni's coming out, I think. Is it next month in December? The Omni.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Kyle Higgins on me?
Yeah, because he was he was the New 52 Nightwing writer.
Right.
Pretty sure they're having that Omni come out next month.
Okay, I liked that. I liked that. That was one of the New 52 things that I personally liked. You'd probably like it too.
It says December 1st on Amazon, which means probably next week or something. Or sometime around there. Because Amazon always has it later than Comic Omni.
I don't remember doing that in the November books to look for.
Can someone in the chat, if you could just look it up for us and try to find that information for us, that'd be great. It's hard to tell in this COVID era when things are actually coming out. It used to be just subtract 2 weeks off Amazon. That's IST. Now it's not like that anymore.
Go to comicreleases.com. That's by Chris Parkhouse, and he does a really good job on that. He does a really good job on updating it, because I don't remember talking about a Nightwing omnibus at all. He and I usually do a monthly show, and I don't remember talking about Nightwing as an Omni, but it's totally possible. As you say, it's totally possible. The other thing is the Chuck Dixon era, which starts with Lethal Force. No, wait, this is not in order.
Jess, I found it on Comic Releases. It's going to be on IST and Comic Show. Oh, I don't know if for sure it'll be on IST. It should be on IST and comic stores on December 2nd.
Okay, that's why I didn't see it. Chris does a really good job with that Comic Releases.
It's a really user-friendly website. You go to Collector Editions tab, and you can just type in the search bar, and it will pull up all upcoming releases, and you can look down. It's like Nightwing, and it'll tell you when that omnibus is coming out.
It is really super user-friendly, yeah.
For a free website that he doesn't get any money out of, I'm assuming.
No, but I think he's going to eventually try and get advertisers.
I would if I was him. That's a really okay, because previews isn't that great. You can only look at this week and some of next week, and the other ones are terrible.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. Imagine how much easier your Essential Collected Editions monthly videos would be. Well, it probably is a lot easier now that you have that.
That's why he's my partner on that now, because he's getting it all figured out.
Before that, you'd look like 10 different websites, and they're all contradicting each other.
You are 100% right, Taylor. And books are not hard to find. About them. Is they all have the same spine, the Nightwing books by Chuck Dixon, except for that Rough Justice one there. That's like number 2. And
I'm surprised that isn't a series of omnibuses yet.
Yeah, well, Chuck Dixon, I think, is kind of a controversial figure now. I think he's like an outright comic skater. But I think that
I don't know. He's still publishing Warren Ellis's stuff, so I don't know.
That's a good point. So I don't know. Anyway, the Chuck Dixon stuff is not hard to find and is really good. So if you want to, actually, that goes into today's topic, Rough Justice. I found that on eBay for cover price, and I found the rest of these on IST, Kenny. So they're not, now the Robins next to them, those are a little harder for me to find. I had to Actually, this leads right into the topic. I had to these Chuck Dixon 5 Robin books. It's harder these days to find out of print books for me, because I used to beat the bushes. I would, since I've been, not working for a while, I have the time where I can travel during the day, 3 to 4 hours in any direction, look for stuff, and then come back. In 2016, I did a whole trip on the West Coast from Central California up to Portland, and that's where I met and teamed up with Nate Burkholz. We hit 8 comic book stores in one day there. Wow. That was a blast. We also had donuts and coffee and lunch and everything else. We were goofing around from like 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. Portland was just a great city for comic books. That was 2016. So, with COVID, it's harder to do, especially these next couple of months. I'm sort of expecting a lockdown to happen in Virginia. I don't know what it's going to be like for anybody else. That's up to your governor. But with a lockdown, it's you just can't go out and beat the bushes like you used to be able to. So I think this episode is sort of the COVID era way to try and find things online without getting gouged.
It really depends on what your concern level is, what your conviction level is about what you want to do. Like, some people still go out. Like, I went to an LCS recently and I got some really good finds. I got the Next Wave Complete Collection, which I love that book and read it digitally, and I wanted it in print. And it's a hard book to find, that Complete Collection. And I found it for cover price.
And that's in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I was in Pittsburgh. There's actually a lot of comic book stores around here, Jess. Whenever the whole COVID thing starts to fade away, if you ever want to come and visit sometimes, we can hit a bunch of comic book stores around here.
That's my idea of fun. I would love to come up and just rent a hotel room, because I want to preserve our friendship. I'm not going to ask to stay with you. I would rent a hotel room and just hit 5 comic book stores every day for 3 days or something. That, to me, is super fun. Well, and that's how I used to do it before COVID. I would just go to a town and beat the bushes looking for books. And sometimes I would, quite honestly, sometimes I'd flip them, but more often than not, I would use them to either trade or outright help somebody on the Omnibus Collectors page. And that's how I got my name OmniDog, was because I would, and it was easier. Now you have more Omnis back in print, thanks to Omar and his contacts at Marvel. I give Omar full credit for getting those books back in print. But there are still a lot of trade paperbacks, DC and Marvel, that are crucial to overarching storylines that are not in print. But it's a heck of a lot easier now to find Uncanny X-Force than it was 5 years ago.
Right. Is that back out of print again, I'm assuming?
Sorry?
I'm assuming that's out of print again, right?
That's a good question.
You just had the recent reprint. Was that earlier this year? I believe it was.
Yeah. Let's see on Amazon.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you look back at your great West Coast Omni tour that you just talked about, there's probably a lot of those Marvel Omnis that you got that are probably back in print or were reprinted for a little bit recently. I think some big books on your Omni tour were Annihilation.
Yeah.
Annihilation Conquest was easy to find for a while because they made so many of them.
That got remaindered eventually. There's so many new people in the hobby that's a whale now.
Oh, really?
Around for so long, it got
for a while. That and Fantastic Four Volume 2 by Hickman Omni were in like mass supply.
Right.
But you couldn't find Volume 1s anywhere, and they're going for crazy prices.
Right. It looks like Uncanny X-Force is out of print, but I think that this is just my gut feeling. I have no inside information that a lot of these books, because of the sort of miscalculations that have been going on and the influx of new people to the hobby, I would imagine things like Uncanny X-Force. What else? Astonishing X-Men that got reprinted. Inferno got a big reprint that's coming up. That was a whale forever. That had people paying multiple upon multiples for it. I have a feeling that Uncanny X-Force and those kind of things will get reprinted next year. I just don't think. I think that Marvel listens to Omar and that he is seen as a person that won't let them leave money on the table. He'll just say, "Yeah, you can do another full print run of Uncanny X-Force, and it'll sell." So, I mean, they're doing Power Pack 2. Give me a break. How are they not going to do another Uncanny X-Force?
Well, I think DC is the bigger culprit of like, why haven't you done this yet? I think Marvel does have some of that, but DC more often than not. And I would say I totally agree with you that local comic book shops are a lot of times the best ways to find out of print stuff. I know right now is a difficult time. Some people may not feel as comfortable going into a comic book shop as I do. You know, wearing a mask and everything, you still just don't feel that comfortable. I would still try to call your local comic book shop to see if they have like a curbside thing set up.
Yeah.
I think even if like you're somewhat busy, you don't have time to go comic book shopping everywhere, just call ahead or Facebook message a store and say, "Hey, do you have this specific book in stock?" I've done that a couple of times, and they're always nice about it. They're never rude about it. If you don't drive like 30, 40 minutes away, just say, "Hey, before I stop in, I just want to make sure you have this book." And just like send a bunch of messages or emails to different shops or just call them. I know I've done that. It's worked out for me.
Yeah, and there's a tool now that a lot of people have had success with. I seem to have less success with it than other people. I know you have had good success with it, and that's Comic Hub online. Right now. Yeah. Oh, you want to share it?
Yeah, I'll share it so people can see it.
I did have luck with finding something. I found something in Las Vegas, and I had Gabe. Gabe picked it up for me. Okay, here's ComicHub.com.
Yeah, think of a book that would be somewhat hard to find. See if we can find it, because this searches comic book shops throughout the country who are associated with this website.
Well, let's try Uncanny X-Force Omnibus.
Okay. The only thing about this site is it can take a long time to load. Do you ever feel that? Do you ever notice that?
Oh yeah, I have noticed that.
So
mostly I've noticed that it gives me 0 results is what I've noticed.
Jess is going to do a song and dance as we wait for this stuff to... Yeah, so the one annoying thing about this site is it can take forever for you to get the result. Okay, here we go. So you have different stuff you can look at. I'm not seeing the Omni yet. But if you click on it, it will show you different comic book stores that it's available at throughout the country.
Let me think of something that I just...
I'll think of this. Like, I just looked for Next Wave. Let's see if we can look up Next Wave.
Yeah.
I know one book I've been trying to find is Northlanders, Volume 1. I haven't bought it yet, but I did find it at one store. It was like at one store.
And did you get it?
I didn't get it yet. I need to get it now. Someone's probably gonna buy it now.
Well, you better get on it. If you found it at only one store.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why I said that. Everybody just don't listen to what I just said.
You better take the next 5 minutes and get that book.
That's so dumb. I don't know why I said that. Part of me is like I almost don't want to show you all this stuff that we use because then people will be able to find stuff that I want.
Yeah, fortunately, I have found pretty much what I want, and there's Next Wave.
So it says Next Wave Agents of Hate Complete Collection, and you see how it says available at right here. You click that, and it'll show you. Oh, it's even across the world. There's one in Ireland. It'll show you where it's available at. So there's one available in Philly, it looks like, or in Delaware, and so it'll pull up the shop. You click on the link, and you can buy the book right there and have it shipped to you.
If they will ship it to you. I found a book on Comic Hub, and they were willing to hold it for me in Las Vegas, but Gabe had to go pick it up for me.
That is true. There are some comic book shops that won't ship, but there are a decent amount that will ship to you. I will say the one thing is that their packaging isn't always the best. You're at the mercy of how they want to package as a comic book shop.
That's a good point.
I got both my copies of The Losers via Comic Hub, and it was terribly packaged. Thankfully, they weren't damaged. And they like drew like a sketch on the front, and I was like, you should have saved that time and give me a better
package. Thanks for the sketch. Give me a better box next time.
That's how Comic Hub works. Like Jess said, it's not always going to work for you. There might be some shops that don't ship them, but you can find some hard to find books for cover. It's always at cover. I've never seen one over cover. Have you?
No.
So, I mean, I can get my words on that, but I've never seen it over cover.
And short of calling there are people out there that will just, I was going to say open the phone book, but I'm sure 90% of the audience doesn't even know what a phone book is now. Go to the internet and use the comic. Oh shoot, there's a local comic store. There's a comic book store finder. I can't think of the name of it. I'm not in the frame of mind to look, but there's it's like a locator, comic store locator. And if you want to start out in a city, don't do Pittsburgh because that's where Taylor is. Say Philadelphia.
Y'all screw me over.
Yeah. You could put Philadelphia in the comic store locator. It'll pull up 25 comic stores. And if you are so inclined, you can call. There are people out there. I'm not one of them, but if I'm in that city, I will use it just so I can find comic book stores to go to, because I like physically going to the store and looking to see what they have. But if you're looking for Uncanny X-Force Omnibus, say, you can pull up every comic book store in Philadelphia and call it and see if they have it.
Right.
You can go to Comic Hub and use that. The two we haven't mentioned for hardcovers is eBay and Amazon, because it's really easy to get ripped off on Amazon and eBay. Well, for soft covers too, but for hardcovers and soft covers. But I found a way that has worked for me about 90% of the time on Amazon. Actually, I'm way behind on questions. There may be some specific questions.
Lloyd Long has a good question.
Sorry?
Lloyd Long has a good question about LCSs before we get off topic.
What time was that?
At 6:16.
Oh.
About Amazon and eBay.
Oh.
Out of print, hard to find collections in the LCS. Would you mind paying cover prices?
So if you find out of collections in LCS, you don't mind paying cover prices? No, I don't. If it's out of print and hard to find, I say a small thank you to the comic gods that I found it for cover price.
For the most part, it's going to be cover price online plus shipping, or over cover plus shipping. So I'm perfectly fine with driving somewhere to pay just cover price.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to a comic book shop where they price gouge and try to charge you for an out of print book. But something I want to talk about in a couple of minutes is half price books. If they know they have an out of print book on their hands, they will price gouge it, which is really annoying.
There are comic stores that will. I saw it the other day, maybe a month ago, on the Omnibus Collectors page, where this guy walked into a comic book store that had every whale you've ever wanted, and the owner would look up on eBay the price he was going to charge. Well, this just sold for $200 on eBay, so that's what I'm going to sell it for. $100 over price. And
has that happened to you?
I've seen it happen. I mean, I've seen stores like that. I don't buy from those stores, and I urge people not to buy from those stores. Usually, anybody that runs a store like that is going to be sitting on inventory forever.
They'll be locking the doors of their shop forever if that's how they run their business, because they're thinking so short term and not long term. They just lost your business long term. But that probably would have been where you go back to find out of print books, because they're good people and that they'll give you cover price. Now that you know that guy's a jerk who's going to price gouge, you're not going to go back. And they're never going to unload it, like you just said.
Yeah, and the idea with a comic book store is turnover. You want to sell as much stuff as you can so you can get new material in, whether it's old floppies or new material, whatever your store specializes in. I mean, you got to run it like a businessman, not a fan. You have to run it like a business, and um, I'm just going to walk out of a place like that. But I did get lucky one time, maybe back in 2017. It was local comic. It was new comic book day. No, wait, what are those days?
Free comic book day.
Free comic book day. I'm forgetting my days. And there was a place in Baltimore that I haven't been able to find now. It's like Omar at the flea market or the bazaar trying to find that guy that sold him the monkey's paw. I haven't been able to find that store again. They had overpriced Omnis, and this is back when I think that's where I ended up getting Punisher by Garth Ennis. This is back when it was like $300 or $400, but because it was local, I'm sorry,
Free comic book day.
Free comic book day, everything in the store was 50% off. The owner wasn't there when I was in there, and I was like the only one in there at 3 p.m. I have a feeling that those books that he had a ton of whales. I bet those weren't supposed to be 50% off, and I got a bunch of whales for 50% off, which brought them back close to cover, and that was the only way I was going to be able to get them for cover.
What are the books that you scored in a comic book store that you couldn't believe that you got them? Like 2 or 3 books, you're just like, I can't believe I got these for cover price. I can't believe I was able to find these, say, by accident almost.
Usagi Yojimbo #1.
Wow. A signed one too, right?
I beg your pardon?
A signed one too, right?
Yeah, it was #1. It was signed to only 900, and now they're reprinting 600 of it or something. And I'd rather not get into a discussion of that because I think that stinks. But anyway.
Are they going to be signed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does lower the value of yours, I guess.
Well,
but you were never going to sell that, though. So
I'm never going to sell it anyway because
it doesn't really lower the sentimental value for you.
Exactly. It was when I was probably 2015 when I was first starting to really get into. There was like a 3-year period. I used to follow Riley on Tumblr, and that's when he was the Omnibus Collector, and I met a friend, I guess through the Omnibus page, that wanted, because I had gotten a reputation for looking for books for people, he wanted me to find him Space Usagi. So I looked at this place, which was a local comic book store where I had found a bunch of stuff, and there wasn't Space Usagi, but sitting there like on top of the stack it wasn't shrink wrapped. This is the only one of them that wasn't shrink wrapped. It was in a big, thick plastic bag. Was Usagi #1, and I said, "Gee, that character. There's something about that book." And I looked it up on Amazon, and I said, "I better get this book. I don't even care if I like it. I better get this book."
You only sell it if you don't like it.
What's that?
Yeah, you can only sell it if you don't like it.
Yeah, and the guy said, "Oh, that book's been here forever. I'll give you 20% off on it." I'm like, okay. And then it turns out it's, Usagi Saga #1. So that's what beating the bushes can turn up, is not only will they sell it to you cover, a lot of places, if you buy enough, if you, pull up a big haul to the counter, will give you a discount. They'll offer you 20% off.
I think most comic book stores owners are really zeroed in on the single issues sometimes, that they're not as up to date on the state of certain collected editions. They're out of print or out of stock in certain places. I think they're so focused on the week to week, maybe they don't realize what they have sometimes.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Since so many books are getting put back into print, I've sort of been focusing on finding, well, T-Lar Blunt has got me into.
Sorry I didn't lift my shirt today at the end of the episode. I don't have to
has got me into Gru. And now these are all of course, out of print, but they're not wildly expensive if you're careful. This is going to be my guide to eBay and Amazon. Amazon works better with the big two than it does Dark Horse. These are all printed by Dark Horse. And so these were out of print, except for number 2. You can still get Family and Friends and Foes number 2 from IST, and they're not expensive. Their cover price of, let's see what volume 2 is. I got it from IST.
Well, Jess, before we get into some of the eBay stuff, do you want to go through a couple of questions that we have here?
Sure. Yeah.
Someone's asking, M. Miglani at 628. He said, what's the outlook on Wolverine Omni Volume number 1? Is that out of print or just hard to find? Now, that was reprinted recently, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thanks to me. I got my opinion. Omar asked my opinion about books, and I said, why is Marvel's arguably most popular character have so many out-of-print Omnis? And he said, okay, pick a Wolverine Omni to be reprinted. And I said, Wolverine number 1, the Frank Miller, big, thick, huge Herkin book. And so that got reprinted. I think this is another example of a book that's going to get reprinted next year once things get back to semi-normal. Because if this had been reprinted last year, it would still be in stock. Because I've heard this from the people that work at IST. I've heard this from Omar, and on being on Omar's videos. There's been such an influx during this COVID time of new people in the hobby, which is great because it's good for the hobby, but nobody knew about it ahead of time when they started reprinting stuff or ordering stuff. Like IST had to order 250 copies of something recently that last year they would have ordered 25 of.
Right.
And still had it in stock. So I would say it's a guess, but my best guess is this is one of those, along with Uncanny X-Force, anything, maybe Sensational She-Hulk. I would guess those things are going to get a reprint, maybe not next year, but within the next 2 years, because there's an awful lot of books. There's an awful lot of books that Marvel wants to put new material in besides reprints. They want to sell new books too. So I would look for books like that to get reprinted within the next couple years. I wouldn't pay. I mean, if you're okay paying $25 over cover on eBay for a book like this, which doesn't kill me to do. Some people that bothers, and I say that's fine. I mean, that's up to you.
Over cover for a book, you think?
Sorry?
What's the most over cover you would pay for a book?
That I would pay for a book?
That you can imagine, like, even if it's a book like you really want, like, this is like probably my dead maximum of how much over cover I'll buy.
Oh.
$125 cover price. It's out of print. You really want it. How high would you go on that? Like,
I personally, let's see, it's $125 cover.
Yeah.
I could see myself, depending on the material, and if I'm sure I'm going to reread it, it's $125. I bet I'd pay up to $160 for it.
Okay. See, I'm a cheapskate.
I get free shipping.
See, I'm a cheapskate. I wouldn't go over cover. That's just me personally, though.
Right. And I get that. I
people who go over cover, that's just my own thing. And N-Man 40 is bringing up a story from Riley at 631. I think I vaguely remember Riley talking about this.
Yeah.
This half-price books, and they had I don't know if it was $500, but I remember it being a lot of money, and like it would never sell.
Well, here's the HPB trick that you can use on soft cover, on paperbacks, that I have found works really well on Amazon. If you go to, I I'll just use it as an example. Let me think. Let me find something that's out of print.
While you're looking for that, Omar Reyes Jr. says that Gabe has him searching for Orkstain. Yeah, Gabe's been selling that book hard for the past how many years?
Oh yeah. Okay.
That,
John said he'd pay $200 for Absolute JLA Avengers. That's a $50 book. And that's not ever going to be reprinted. So I don't know that I disagree with that. If you really want that book, that thing's not getting reprinted.
was that an early Absolute? Because $50 Absolute, I can't believe they're that cheap for a while. Because gee, that would have been like what, like $28 or something? That's crazy for an Absolute.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
To find that, I don't know how you would find that now. I don't know how you'd find it for under $200. I think when I first started looking for that book, I ended up getting it free because Mike Noah is a great guy and he just sent it to me free. But I think $100 was the minimum you could find it for 5 years ago. And that's not a book because of the crossover and copyright issues and things between the publishers. I don't think that's getting reprinted. But if you want an out of print trade paperback, the very first thing I do is I go to Amazon and I go to the used section and I go to any half price books. Now, locally, you'll go into half price books and they will have, like N-Man 40 was saying, Inferno for $500. But online, if you find a trade paperback that you want that's in good condition, all it has to be is in good condition, and it's from half price books and it's a good price, you can buy it knowing that it's going to be almost new, because they list their books all the time as just good. They don't even bother grading them. Good, 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 good. Because I filled, I can't remember, I don't know what I filled recently, but it was 5 or 6 books in a run, and they weren't. I couldn't get all 5. Let's say the cover price was $20 on the trade paperback, and on eBay the best I could find was like $25 a book per book for like $5. Half price books in good condition, I got each one for $6. Actually, that's how I found all those Robin books by Chuck Dixon from half price books. They were all like $8 or $9 and they were in perfect shape. Whereas somebody wanted $100 for that 5 trade paperback run. I put my own run together for using half price books, and 8 times 5 is what? 40? Is it 40?
It is.
So for yeah, for $40, I put that run together from half price books.
Which run again? Robin or Hulk? You said
Robin.
Okay.
Okay, that's another good example.
Those collectors asking about your Hulk trades. Didn't you get a Bruce Jones Hulk run recently?
Yeah, the collector. That's exactly where I got all my Hulks. Let me grab them real quick from Bruce Jones.
And as Jess is talking about that, he's talking about half-price books online. I have a half-price books that's less than 10 minutes away from me. So I go there probably once a month because you never know what people are going to drop off. And I would say more often than not, my visits are fruitless. But every once in a while, I'll find a gem there. And I'm really excited that I went there. I know a few months ago, I found the Mighty Thor by Chris Samnee, the complete collection, and the complete collection of Spider-Man Noir. And so that was a big day for me at half-price books. So if you have one close to you, I would recommend going there once a month or once every other month because you'll find stuff every once in a while. And it's really worth the effort.
Yeah, this is the collector. Thanks. You know my collection better than I do. This is the Bruce Jones run. I put this whole thing together through half price books. These are all good condition, and it's hard for me to show you on the air, but I'll just try and show you the edges and corners and stuff. You can see the corners.
And Omni for that run was announced like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, you sound like Omar.
You know what's going to happen though. Now that you bought it.
It will happen, yeah. So these were all like that. These are half-price books. I got them for $6 to $8. They're all out of print, and that's for filling in a run like something like this is on Amazon for half-price books. Also, you can take a chance with Goodwill stores. I don't have the confidence in Goodwill stores around the country to give them a blanket endorsement like I do HPB, but you can give it a shot because a lot of times their good is the same as HPB's good, which is brand new.
It's good to see Iman in the chat. I haven't seen
Oh,
her.
yeah. I haven't seen Iman in forever. HPB, the first place I visit on my trips to the U.S. Nice. Good to see you, Iman. Let's see. HPB items are almost always in. Oh, sometimes some manga volumes can be a bit beat up, but all things considered, the quality is almost always good. Here's another thing to keep in mind with HPB. They ship terribly. They suck at shipping. They are the worst shippers ever because they'll take a book like Hulk and it goes into a plastic envelope. No padding, nothing. Plastic envelope. If you call them and ask them to put it in a box, it costs a couple of bucks extra, but they will put it in a box and send it to you. So that's worth doing.
So we have 74 people in the chat. We only have 19 likes though, so smash that like button, everybody. That helps.
Oh yeah, everybody, please.
YouTube.
Please, everybody, like us. Give us some love.
My mom likes me, but I need you guys to like me too.
Speaking of hard to find, do y'all get a PS5 or new Xbox?
Jess and I have talked about this before. Jess is probably like 10 games behind on PS4.
Yep.
And I'm just not at the stage of my life where I'm willing to pay $500 for a new system, especially since new systems don't have that many games out. I'm going to wait another year or so whenever it gets a little bit cheaper and there are more games to buy. Like I just bought Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man game on PS4. I'm like, I'm just going to play it on PS4. I'm not going to get a PS5 just for that. So I'm eventually going to get it. It'll be an easy supply by then, and it won't be stressful, and it'll be a lot cheaper. I'm not at the place right now where I have as much time to play games. I kind of have to focus more on reading than anything else in my free time.
You're pretty cranky, Michael Eamon. You need to make me laugh before I like it. Amuse me. Well, Taylor's already made me laugh a bunch of times, so like it because I made me laugh.
On to Ben Uncles, who's nicer than Michael Eamon.
To
quantify how much I like you guys.
Forgot to quantify how much I
give us that kind of comment, and then we'll make you laugh.
Thank you, Ben. Michael Eamon, you can bite me. We have Ben.
Maybe that made him laugh. Maybe he'll like us now.
Here's Brian Meenan. How's it going, Brian? Let's see. So,
you made Michael Eamon laugh, so you better give us that like, man.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he said he laughed, so we better get that like coming in.
That made me laugh. Oh, all right. Well, good. Let's see. Brian needs a smart triple Mario game on Switch, and you totally need Animal Crossing. I can vouch for that. I don't know about the Mario game, but I know Mario games are awesome. T-Lar Blunt is texting me.
Tell him to call in.
I'm on the air. Call that question in. Okay, let's see if he calls it in. I definitely can vouch for the Switch. I only have one game, and that's Animal Crossing, because I knew if I bought any more, I'd get way behind. Like I haven't finished Red Dead Revolver Redemption 2 Son of Red Dead or whatever it
So
is.
behind that you think the series is still called Red Dead Revolver. That's how far behind you are.
What is Red
Game
Dead?
back in like 2005 or something, like 2003. That was like on the Xbox. And Chris Kaufman's talking about my lonely shelf back there. It's not that lonely. I have other ones over here. I have another one over here you can't see, and I have my DC shelf over here. It's not too lonely.
Hello, you're on the air with OmniDog's Vault, Baturdays in the BatCave.
Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Take off your shirt.
But 'cause you guys just have such charismatic star power. But I have a question. It's a little unorthodox because I know Batman is a DC character, and my question is about Marvel. Is that okay?
Yes.
As long as I can ask you a question after I answer your question.
Okay, Karen, the lady who was screening the calls, wasn't super sure.
Karen.
I'm looking for a show that I can watch with my 6-year-old daughter, and I'd like it to be about Marvel and maybe have an episode about some action figures.
The show you are looking for is on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's called 616.
616. Oh boy. Okay.
And the episode about action figures is like episode 6 or 7.
And Tyler, there's a really good episode after that follows Dan Slott as he's writing a comic and kind of how the whole process of a comic comes together.
Wow. Well, I am just over the moon. Tickle my peaches. Thanks a bunch, you guys. Y'all are the best.
Thank you for calling in, Tyler. T-Lar Bloom.
You guys would have the answer. Good night.
Good night, T-Lar. I can vouch for that. On Disney Plus, the show 616, it has like 8 little mini documentaries, and one of them's on action figures, and it's really interesting and fun.
And the one I was talking about.
Sorry?
The one I was talking about, the Marvel method, was really cool. I mean, it follows Dan Slott and his co-creators writing that new Iron Man 2020 series. And that series could be total garbage. I don't know. I've never read it. But it's really interesting how they show you how a book goes from concept to final product. They actually show you at the printers how the book is made.
Oh.
So it's really cool to see that process. And that toy episode, I watched it today. That also is really cool. They talked about Marvel Legends a lot, which you and Tyler love. I'm not a big, Pop Funko person, but it's interesting to see how they make them. It's a really cool episode.
This is the bossest legend ever.
I can tell because you posted it 3 times on your Instagram feed. I'm always like, does he know he's posted that already twice?
I posted it in the box, but I don't think I posted it out of the box, did I?
You posted it twice out of the box. I was like, I think he's in a, I don't know what's going on right now, but I think he's going crazy right now. Oh, you posted it twice in the box and once out of the box.
Oh, all right.
I just looked. And Michael Eamon is very suspicious of us. He thinks that was a plant phone call.
Oh no, where is that? That felt like a plant phone call. You mean like a plant called in? No.
Just let your hair down and enjoy the show. Stop being so suspicious and curmudgeonly. Just smile and have some fun.
Yeah. I hear there's a great show called Action Figure Fridays as well. Hey, buddy. We had a good one yesterday. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like 616 toy episode and then Action Figure Fridays all the way up here. And then Elvis Parker has a really good question that we could probably spend a decent amount of time talking about. That's a great question.
Okay, good. And then there's okay. We have actually a lot of questions. Would you say, from Elvis, would you say there's a fair amount of blind buying or just buying it because it's out of print when it comes to buying out of print books? I am guilty of wanting something and then wanting it really badly when I find it's out of print. I will admit to that.
It's FOMO.
FOMO, absolutely. It's taken me a while to get rid of that, but I still have it to some degree. But I can't speak to the population at large. I can only talk to you about me. Well, actually, I can talk to you. I think there is a lot of buying when it becomes out of print, people feel like, oh my gosh, now I need to have it for sure. Because I remember before COVID, that Silver Surfer by Dan Slott that was so good with art by Michael Allred.
I missed out on that one.
What's that?
I missed out on that one.
And it was around for like 8 or 9 months, and it started getting publicity in the group like when it went out of print, because people were so shocked that it went out of print so fast. And that was going out of print fast back then in the 2018, I think. You know, it came out in 2018, went out of print in 2019 or something like that. I can't remember now, but it took 9 months for it to go out of print, and that was considered fast. Whereas now it's like a day and something's out of print. But
it's gotten better though. This past week at IST, the traffic was still horrible, but everything wasn't sold out right away.
The traffic, yeah.
That's what I call it. I mean, I started it like I got on the website 256, refresh. I didn't get out of there till 3:12, and so that was a long time. I would, go to review, go to submit things, and you just kind of sit there like, come on. The traffic was bad, but I think they're getting more in stock, and that's something that IST did tell everybody, that they're ordering a lot more than they used to. Because we have to remember, they're ordering these things months in advance.
6 months in advance.
Yeah, 6 months in advance. So they know they need to buy more. So they're going to have more in stock. So you don't have to stress as much. You still have to be on it. But I don't think it's as stressful as it was 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Right. Because I think Excalibur this past week was the big book, and it was there at least throughout the whole day.
Right, which, I mean, that does stink. That's gone. But, I mean, it's better than, like, within 5 minutes it being gone. That's what was happening. Like, Jess and I bought the World of Black Hammer, and that was gone within 8 minutes. I think that might be back on their – actually, no, it's not back on their website yet. Black Hammer Volume 2 was. But a book selling out in 8 minutes, that's just really tough. Like, if you're at work and you can't get out of a meeting or something, that sucks if you can't be there at 3 o'clock.
And that's – I just don't think that's going to continue to be the nature of the hobby. Eventually, publishers and online outlets will catch up, but I'm not going to blame it on the pandemic. But I mean, the pandemic has changed everything. There's more people into buying collected editions now, and online retailers buy stuff based on 6 months ahead of time. So with New Mutants, when it comes out, that'll be the first one whenever New Mutants comes out. I think it might be next week, beginning of December. I can't remember. Whenever New Mutants does come out, that'll be the first time IST's had a chance to up their orders, I think. And a year from now, I wonder if people will still be in the hobby like they were, like they are now. If the vaccine is dispersed to a lot of people, if people aren't as afraid to go out, and people go back to work, I don't know. Work has changed too. A lot of people have found they can work from home and not lose productivity. Those are the people that work from home, I think, are the ones that are the new hobbyists, because they've got a couple extra hours in their day that they don't have to get to work and come back home and deal with traffic, so they use it to read. So I'm wondering if those same people, if there's these figures, the increased amount of hobbyists that are in it now will stay the same, or if it will dip down. I don't know.
Just going back to IST stock, I mean, I'm looking at their top sellers, and they still have Road to No Man's Land Omnibus. They still have the JLA by Grant Morrison Omnibus. They still have Excalibur Volume 1. So these things aren't selling out as quick, which should be a really big relief to a lot of us. That you don't have to be stressed out on day one, 3 o'clock, or doing pre-orders is another idea. but that's good to know that at least it's not selling out as quick as it was. But Jess, going back to the blind buy question, what's a book that was a blind buy for you that maybe you went after hard because it was out of print and then you got it and you didn't like it? Can you think of a book like that where you spent a long time trying to get it and then you read it and you're like, I don't even like this? Or maybe you even got rid of it without even reading it because you took a long time to get it, but you just thought, you know what? I don't want this.
I did do a major purge recently, but I don't know that those were out of print books. Let me think. That is a really good question. An out of print book that I regret that I got FOMO'd on. You might have to give me a little time while we answer other questions.
Oh, that's fine.
Because I totally know that I bet I have.
Chris Kaufman said the last book that went in 5 minutes was Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 a couple weeks ago. It was gone at 3:05.
And what time was that one?
6:58.
Okay. Volume 2, and it was gone at 3:05. Okay, that's one I did not pre-order, and I had to. That's one that I had to order.
I'm surprised you didn't have that already. Uncanny X-Men Volume 2. Hasn't that been out for a while? But it was out of print.
Yeah, it has. But I don't have the most complete X-Men. That might have gone out of print before I got a chance to get it.
Okay.
Because I don't think I didn't. It was only, I think, last year where I thought, okay, I want a complete X-Men collection and I want to actually try and read it. So sorry.
Stop the presses. 6:59. Real Big Cohen. You gotta check this out. This is a big thing for you.
Oh. That's right. Venomnibus, Volume 2.
I'm talking about Real Big Cohen.
Oh.
He wants to give you something or send you something.
Let's say this one?
Yeah.
Let's say I can get you a Harley Quinn Rebirth #1 retailer variant from Home Shop of Palmiana Connor. How can I send? PM me, possibly signed. Wow. I would love that. Thank you. How do I get a hold of you, Real Big Cohen? Thank you very much.
Michael responded to that.
Candace looks over it. But see, Michael, Venomnibus #2 wasn't out of print. I got FOMO'd into it, but as soon as it came in, I got rid of it.
It has to be something you went after hard in 2015 or 2016, because I feel like those are the years you literally got everything.
Right.
Like I imagine like the postman was bringing in 20 boxes a day, every day, 2015, 2016. I just imagine him like hurting his back, getting workman's comp, cursing your name because he's brought so many boxes to your house.
I think blind buy that was out of print, but I don't think I spent that much for it, was some Avengers book. Maybe Avengers 1 and 2.
Avengers The Crossing?
No, I never did own that. I got warned away from that. And West Coast Avengers. Well, I didn't really froth at the mouth for those. I just bought them because I found them. Well, I think that's sort of how I work, though, more. It's just like they were there. I wanted them, so I got them. And then I realized I didn't care about the Avengers as much as I care about X-Men. The only Avengers team I really care about is Jonathan Hickman's Avengers.
Yeah.
Really the only Avengers book I've read that I've enjoyed. I do like New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis, but I love Avengers by Hickman.
I do want to read Avengers by Jeff Johns, because I would like to see a Jeff Johns Marvel book.
Oh, I think I have that in trade paperback.
I think that's like in a thick trade or something.
Yeah, I think you
Like
might be
maybe
right.
2 thick trades. I can't remember.
Any out of print books get a root beer bath, Jess?
Let's see. Bramble is. Let's go through them. Bramble,
Savage Highway,
Savage Highway, Beautiful Darkness, Batman Damned,
Batman,
User,
Batman Cacophony, and
Lightning Gyre,
Lightning Gyre.
User,
What was that?
User. That was the most
User.
recent one.
User.
What was it? Oh, Astonishing Wolfman.
Astounding Wolfman.
Astounding Wolfman. Is that it?
No, I think this book was out of print, but it's been reprinted since, and that was Deadly Genesis.
Okay.
X-Men.
That's 9.
I hated that book.
Is that all of them, you think?
I think that is all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that book was out of print, Oxmeat. The Deadly Genesis, for a while it was, but then it's been reprinted in a few formats. But I did look hard for that book, that and the Shi'ar Empire book, and those have both been reprinted. And okay, I think these qualify because they were blind buys. I wanted them because they were X-Men books that I wanted to try and complete a collection. I had no idea about them, and I hated them when I read them. I really was disappointed in them. They were awful. Anything to do with Vulcan just makes me want to bang my head against the wall.
I'm really hoping a reprint, or at least maybe put this in omnibus form, that one X-Force run by Kyle and Yost. I do really want to read that.
Oh, yeah. Is that both of those are out of print now?
Well, the hard thing about that run is there's also books around it that you're supposed to read.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Messiah War, Messiah Complex, things like that. So you kind of have to get all of those in one shot, from what I understand. But I've heard that's really good. I want to get more X-Men books. It's just hard to really. I feel like if you jump into X-Men, you have to really jump in hardcore to really get everything. And
yeah.
So I kind of dip my toes in every once in a while. Omar Reyes has a good question about the Green Lantern Omnis by Jeff Johns.
Where is that?
It's 704.
If I get all 3 John's Green Lantern Omnis, is there enough Darkest Night in them that I don't need the Darkest Night Omni?
I would say you wouldn't. I don't have the Omnis. I have all the trades, and I don't think it's necessary. I'm not someone who has to read every issue of an event. I don't usually love events that much. I usually read the main series and then maybe a couple other editions as well. But if you're really into reading a whole entire event, then you might want to buy the Omni. But if you do that, you might want to buy the Brightest Day Omni then too, even though that's not the more exciting of the events.
Yeah. I think it's Blackest Night and Brightest Day. But I would think you'd probably need to get the Blackest Night Omni to go along with that. I hesitate to recommend anybody getting the Brightest Day Omnibus just because even though I got that bound, I got it custom bound because I had, 300 comics of it. And I thought, oh, I'll just get it bound. And I got Blackest Night bound too, which I was happy about. But I think if you're going to get the John's GL ones, you should get Blackest Night too.
What I have is I have all the trades, and I have the Blackest Night event book and the Blackest Night Green Lantern issues. And I was perfectly fine with all those, and I didn't feel like I was missing anything that was really important. But again, I think it goes to the question of, do I want to read every issue in this event? Or am I someone who needs to have all this or not? For me, I don't need that. Some people might need that. So you might ask yourself that question. Like, I'm not someone who's going to who bought the War of Realms omnibus because, one, it was massive. And second, I don't need to read every tie-in issue. I'd rather just buy the main series and then read the Thor issues and the next hardcover.
Right.
That's just me personally. Everyone's a little bit different, though.
Yeah. Brian brings up a good point because somebody else brought up JSA Volume 2 being out of print. I think DC did do a stealth reprint of JSA 2 and 3.
I wonder what the upside to them doing that is, like a stealth reprint. I wonder why they decided to do that.
Stealth instead of telling people?
Yeah, instead of telling people. I wonder why they would go that route. Or you wonder if maybe they found extra stock of it somewhere. I don't know.
JSA Omnibus. Let's see. JSA Omnibus Volume 2. In Volume 1. Yeah, they're all in print. They're not particularly cheap, but they're all in print, according to Amazon. I don't know about in-stock trades, but Brian's from England anyway. Are you guys buying DC books on the heels of controversy out of FOMO?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you be more specific?
What controversy?
DC has so many issues, it's hard to know what you're talking about. It's like, which controversy are you talking about?
Can you narrow it down for us?
Yeah, I'll make sure to go back to that question once you maybe explain it a little bit better.
Yeah, and I apologize to MJR. Beautiful Darkness just seemed like a mean-spirited book to me. I stopped midway and said, I hate this thing and I am not going to go forward with it. Omar, Nearman Condition Omar, loves it. It always smashes it in my face whenever we talk. And you like it too. You know, books are different for different people. It just seemed really mean-spirited to me, and I didn't dig it at all.
I've learned recently that Jess doesn't love really dark stuff. Whenever we reviewed Men of Wrath, like, I love that book, and it was just a little bit too much for you. I think I feel like you need to have a little bit more light in a book, or like at least some ray of.
Yeah.
Besides maybe the Ed Brubaker stuff, usually there's not much hope in those books, but sometimes there are.
Yeah, but I don't know. Men of Wrath.
That was a dark book.
Yeah, that affected me, like, in a bad way. Elvis, I believe I don't, but I want to listen to Sandman. I think that Taylor has listened to Sandman. Haven't you?
I listened to the majority of it. It was really good. I haven't finished it yet, but I really enjoyed what I've listened to. I think you would like it. I think you're a bigger Sandman fan than I am. I think you get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, if I commuted, I would definitely listen to audiobooks.
When you walk your dog, I always listen to podcasts and stuff while I walk my dog or walk Sam around the block.
My dog is old. She only lasts about 15 minutes out there.
Well, 15-minute chunks. If you're doing it every day, that's a decent amount of time every week.
Yeah.
Michael Reese, I'm still not understanding. He says the controversy around DC is rumors of DC getting out of printing books. Getting out of printing books and sticking to movies and TV shows. I just don't believe that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. Those are strong rumors, but they're rumors, and so I don't know. Either way, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't. I've long felt that AT&T doesn't have a clue what the teeny little comic book company is that it has down at the bottom of the pile, and so they don't know what to do with it. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they outsourced the books or closed the books down or sold the little bit of books. I don't know.
It's never going to be a total. There's not going to be no more books. That's not going to happen. It's just, I could see maybe cutting down the single issues or maybe go into like a graphic novel format or something. I don't think they'll totally get out of the game completely. But I don't see them just totally shuttering the doors. I don't really see that. Yeah,
they have so much debt they're still trying to service that the intellectual properties that DC generates is worth keeping it around just for t-shirts and hats alone. But I don't know what they think about floppies. You know, if they stop doing floppies, that's going to be the end of your LCS. That's half your LCS is going to be empty. So I don't know what.
Well, I just go back to the early aughts, late 90s, when we thought Marvel was going to close its doors and it was in bankruptcy and it came back from the brink. I'm hoping and praying that they could not have that happen because I love these characters. I love DC. I mean, as much as DC is like that problem child that they annoy you, but you love them at the same time. It makes you want to pull your hair out. It's like, I can't imagine not having new Batman books coming out, new Superman books coming out. Like, that would just be horrible. I mean, people thought Marvel was going to be gone back in the late 90s, early aughts, so who knows? I think maybe they get pulled out again. But again, it's DC, so who knows what's going to happen. I just don't think they'll ever totally get out of the publishing game. And like Jess said, at least they would outsource it to a different company, like they do with like the IDW, like how Marvel does that with IDW sometimes.
Here is a really good question from Dr. Wolf Tickets. Related question: how important is GL Core? Does it matter that it's missing from John's GL Omnis? A lot. It matters a lot. I had all of Green Lantern Corps bound into 4 Omnis. Those trades that make up GL Corps are not hard to find. You do need to do a little scrambling to find them all. Totally worth reading alongside books 1 through 3 of John's Green Lantern. It helps immensely. It makes it a richer experience. It's a lot more fun, and I highly recommend hunting down the GL Core books. I don't necessarily recommend having them bound. I just had fun having that done. But yeah, it makes Jeff Johns' books even better, is the GL Core.
I think Ben Uncle's at 713. I think if I see DC stopping publishing, this is the route I think it would go, is them keeping the rights to the characters but outsourcing it to other companies, kind of like how Dark Horse does it, like they did with Buffy and other characters like that. I can see them doing that, which would still be sad, not seeing that DC logo on the book anymore. I mean, maybe it would still be on there, but I'm hoping it doesn't get to that. But at least we'd still get books with that scenario. Well, Jess, you never really got to talk about eBay. Do you want to jump into that for a couple minutes and we'll let some questions stack up?
I haven't read Jimmy Olsen, but that reminds me that I need to pull that and read that. Thank you, Ben.
I think Jess and I are planning on doing a Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane review maybe sometime in January or so. So we'll review those eventually.
Oh, well, then I'll wait until closer to that.
I think Lois Lane comes out this upcoming week.
I am really looking forward to that. That's supposed to be really good.
And we love Rucka, so I can't imagine it being too bad.
The other thing with Amazon for finding books is Camel. That's a thing where you sign up for it online, camelcamelcamel.com, and you set you put in a book and you set the price level that you are willing to pay for it. And Camel monitors Amazon used and new books and will alert you when it hits that price level. So I highly recommend that for any books you're looking for, because it just happened to Taylor and I where we were both looking for Punisher Noir. And I hate to bring it up because I know it's a sore spot for Taylor.
I'm still looking for that once a week, and I can't find it anywhere for less than $60. It's so annoying.
I found it for like $20 on Amazon. And that Camel can help you because someplace like HPB could just all of a sudden put Punisher Noir out in good condition for $15 or something, and that will alert you that it's for sale. And you can chart, it shows you a chart of the fluctuations in price for books. So that, and the similar thing is to save a search on eBay for a book, because if you go to eBay and you're looking for like Gru, this is a $15 cover price. It's going to always start off at $30 for Gru, which I'm not going to do. That just doesn't sit right with me. Even though I would have paid such and such for a Gru trade paperback, I'm just not doing it. So go to sold and see what books that you're looking for, what those have really sold for. And there's a wide discrepancy between sales and what people are asking. People ask $200 for a book that sells for $50 routinely. So set up your search to alert you when a book becomes available, and you'll be able to get there right away if it's at a price that you really want. So, and saving a search is really easy. You just hit the little heart that's there at the top that says save this search, and you just hit the heart and it'll save the search for you. And because a lot of times it's just a matter of that book being for sale. If there's 15 copies of it, there's a better chance of you getting it for a cheap price. But also maybe it's a book that you just want and you never see it for sale. Like the Bill Sienkiewicz New Mutants book, even though that's probably $300 from IDW, maybe that's something you want, but it's not available for sale very often. So you definitely want to save your searches and get alerted from eBay.
Do you have any other eBay tips you want to share?
Well, just try not to FOMO out on eBay, because the first thing when you search for a book, don't look for what it's selling for. Don't look for what people are asking for it. Look for what it's sold for, so you know what a price is. Because people are going to ask crazy prices, just like they do on Amazon. But Amazon doesn't have a way for you to figure out what the books are really selling for. Get a realistic price in mind, even if it's a $20 book, but it's really selling relentlessly, religiously all the time for $40. You may have to pay $20 over cover, because that's the only place you can find it. Maybe it's a book that's out of print for 15 years and there's no way you're going to find it at a local comic shop. Definitely find out what's actually sold for, and temper your expectations and be willing to wait 6 months for your copy to show up. You don't want to throw in the towel and say, all right, I'll pay $70 for this book. You don't want to do that. I mean, that's just a waste of money and you'll feel bad about yourself.
And Oxmeat Pete at 719 has a question. Where will you both go shopping for book deals for Black Friday? Do you have any plans to shop online on Black Friday, Jess?
Where will you both go shopping for book deals? This would be the time. This time last year, IST would have had book sales. I think they're so swamped with business that OmniBros hasn't had a code recently all year, really. There hasn't been a 50% off code from IST all year because they just can't handle the business. So I'm open to any ideas for book deals. I don't know where. Normally I would say, yeah, I'd go to IST for the 4 to 5% off that they would offer. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't have any inside knowledge. I just know they're swamped with business, and I don't see them doing it actually.
And Amazon tends to lean towards digital comic book deals that I've noticed.
Oh, okay.
They don't really focus on print as much as they do digital in terms of the sales that they have. That's just been what I've noticed.
I don't know well, I'll tell you the answer to this. No, I don't think it's worth $150. What do you guys think of Justice League Detroit era? That's not my favorite Justice League. It doesn't
interest. Even the title doesn't interest me.
No.
not judging you if you want it. I hear that title and I'm like, nah, that's not for me.
That's not for me, and I definitely would not pay $150. But you could be completely different. That may be your JSA. I'm sorry, your JLA. So if you really want that book, then I personally wouldn't pay $150. I'd set up a search on eBay and set a price that you're willing to pay for it. And I'd also do camel on Amazon. Is it 150 cover or is it 125 cover?
There's not many Omnis that are 150 cover that I can think of. There are some,
Just
but usually it's 125 is the max. But there are some 150s, I think.
JLA Detroit. Justice League. Okay, it's going for 125 on Amazon. So yeah, you can get it for 125 on Amazon. So I bet you can get it cheaper on eBay. Ooh, Zatanna's on the cover. Wait a minute.
Oh, so now Jess is going to buy it. Now Jess is interested.
Is that Zatanna?
You better hurry and buy it before Jess buys it on the show.
That looks like Zatanna.
And you've all witnessed how quickly Jess changes his mind. Jess told me a long time ago, don't believe him when he says he's not going to buy something. When he says, I'm not going to buy that, he's most likely going to buy it. He always changes his mind. I remember Jess and I having like a really upset conversation about how we're not excited for that future event of DC books. And then the next day, he's like, I saw a Wonder Woman cover and I changed my mind. Now I can't wait. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, what are you talking about? You saw one cover and now I'm excited.
That cover was really cool, though.
It's just funny how that was like the switch that just flipped.
Let's see. Here's an answer. Actually, it's a serious answer from Michael M. and JLA Detroit. In my opinion, it was a bit of a slow read. Get the JL Justice League by Giffen and McGuire first. Okay, good.
And he tells you not to get it in another comment, but Michael, it has Zatanna, so it's impossible for Jess not to get it. It doesn't matter. As long as the cover's good, that's all that matters.
Shut up. Don't get it, Jess. It's a slog. All right, I won't get it.
And Beyond Comics at 724 has a good question for us. Going to Crime Corner.
Crime Corner's made me want to get into crime books. Thinking of getting the 100 Bullets Omni, yes. And Criminal reprint, also a yes. Are these good starting points? Yes.
Criminal is the best entry point for a crime series that I can think of. Like if you want to get into more crime books, you have to have Criminal. You have to have Ed Brubaker in your collection. I enjoy a decent amount of 100 Bullets. I'm not as into it as other people are. I definitely think it's worth the get, but definitely get Criminal. That's the one I would say you have to get. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I like 100 Bullets a lot and think it's worth getting, but I love Criminal.
The Criminal's one of my favorite books of all time, so
yeah,
I can't overhype that enough. Speaking of Crime Corner,
Tales of Wonder has it for $72.50. That Detroit era. If you want to slog through it,
we saved him half price.
Yeah,
well, Spencer did. Joe Chip is asking us at 726, do we think that pulp will be collected in oversized format? I really don't think so because it's not a criminal book. It's not tied to any other book. I'm pretty sure that's going to be its format going forward. So I think that's probably what it's going to be.
I think so too. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you very much, John Comics from New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
That's very cool. Thank you very much.
With another Crime Corner question, 726.
From Ben?
Yeah.
The intersection of Crime Corner and Baturdays. Have you guys ever read Batman Huntress Cry for Blood by Rucka? I don't think I have. Have you?
I haven't heard of it. Let me look it up. I've heard of that Books of Blood question book that he did.
Yeah.
I never heard of Cry for Blood. It looks like it's like $35 on Amazon. and
Is
plus
that
shipping. And there's one left. Uh-oh.
are they being used?
I don't know. It just says it's. I don't know if it's used. It doesn't look like it's used.
All right, let me see what eBay
Yeah,
says.
they have some used going from that. The cheapest one's $21.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad. Batman Huntress. Okay, let's see. Batman Huntress, Cry for Blood. Let me use the filter. Sold and completed. It sells for, oh, those are the oh the trade sold for $10.
Okay.
20 bucks, 30 bucks, 15 bucks, 20 bucks, 25 bucks. So there's your ballpark, $12. I have not heard of this book.
Oh, it looks like there's one. It's called the Birds of Prey movie that came out earlier this year. They have a Birds of Prey Huntress paperback that includes that, and it's only for $16.81 on Amazon.
Okay, say that again then.
And let me see if I can. I'll share my screen and show you.
Okay, thanks,
Make it
Ben.
easier.
Great.
Can you all see it?
Yeah, can you make it bigger? What's that word? Enlarge it at
Remember
all?
how I'm on my wife's iMac and I can't make things bigger?
Oh,
But
let's see.
It's Birds of Prey Huntress. It says by Greg Rucka and art
And
by
correct
Rick
Batman
Burchett.
Huntress Cry for Blood 1 through 6.
Right. So the question you have to ask, I mean, it's not too bad of a cover. It's kind of like a movie cover, but you can barely tell.
So this is basically a reprint then of that Batman Huntress book.
Right. And
Oh.
I'm usually someone who hates movie covers, but you can barely tell it's a movie cover, so I approve. So we know what Jess is going to be buying right now.
I'll get this. Greg Rucka and yeah. Thank you, Ben Uncles. Birds
Yeah, it
of
looks like
Prey.
they have some other books of those characters. And that looks like it's one of those in that series that came out to kind of, make money off the movie.
Slow down there, Speedy. I didn't get to read about Black Canary.
Oh, sorry. See how Jess talks to me? Everybody?
Collects Black Canary 1 through 12. I haven't read that. Who's the author here? Brendan Fletcher. Brendan Fletcher. Has he caught a hashtag recently?
Pretty much everything. It seems like almost half the comic community has.
Yeah.
And you already have this stuff. It's
I probably do.
Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. So it looks like the only one you're going to need is Birds of Prey Huntress, because it's by Rucka.
Birds of Prey Huntress. And let's see if it's on IST.
It probably is.
Yeah, probably.
It doesn't sound like a book that would sell out right away.
Let's see if we can make it sell out because it's so awesome.
It is on IST for $11.59.
Wow, you got there fast. Can you put it on my wish list for me?
Well, you called me Speedy, so I was trying to live up to my name.
Okay, what is it? Birds of Prey.
Huntress.
Huntress. Ooh, I'm excited about this book. Are you picking it up or are you going to...
It doesn't look like it's going to be going out of print anytime soon, so let me know how it is.
Okay. I just added it to my wish list.
Huntress isn't a character that I really jump at, but I'd be willing to read it if you like it. I can at least read on Hoopla. That's true.
It's Greg Rucka.
That's true.
We do like Greg Rucka. Thank you, Ben Uncles. You did us a solid.
Well, there's one other website I want to talk about real quick that I've found this past year. I think you're the one who probably told me about it, and that's Hamilton Books.
Oh, yeah.
Now, should I share my screen again to show that? Should we just talk about it?
Let me just Belton Hi, I'm really torn of Blade of the Immortal Deluxe not being left to right reading. Does anyone believe it's worth to buy in Deluxe? Yeah, I bought it because it's specifically the Western style of reading. Now I can read it. If it was in the manga style of reading, I couldn't have read it because my brain is too stiff. It's not elastic like it was.
Yeah, Omar, if the Minister of Comics is on, that means Salma won't be in the background. Just to
No, I found out that Tyler and Taylor, there is a limit. So I didn't even try it today with Taylor.
Yeah, your thing with Tyler yesterday, I think that was a prank on him. So.
Oh my gosh, I got him so good.
Well, it would have been funnier if he wasn't chiseled. If he was like some like fat schlub. Like he's like, oh, you're
chiseled.
And that guy doesn't work out. He drinks 5 Dr. Peppers a day. It's like, come on. He eats so much. His diet's definitely worse than mine. And it's like, what the heck?
He's a junk food maniac, washes it down with Dr. Pepper, and the guy's ripped.
Man, I hate him.
Saying that. You were going to show a website?
Oh, yeah. I'll show Hamilton Books for people who don't know what it is.
Okay.
This is a website that I think you told me about probably 6 or 7 months ago, Jess. And this website can be used for books, Blu-rays, a bunch of different stuff. But if you want to look at their comic book stock, go to this little tab right here. You see different categories. Go down to graphic novels and comics. It'll take you to their stock. Click find. And you could do a search. You can go by most popular. You can do A to Z. That's usually what I do. I check this maybe once every 2 weeks, and I go through it because they have massive discounts. Everything is usually $5.95 to $6.95. Sometimes it's more, but for the most part, it's really, really cheap stuff. I found Superman's Secret Identity on here. That's crazy. I think it's still on there. That's a book that's really hard to find in deluxe edition. Yeah, and it's on here still. And wow. I remember I posted this on the group, and a bunch of people bought it, and they still have it. They somehow have a huge stock. So they don't have a ton of books on this site, but they have some real gems. I know Jess and I both use this service every once in a while. And so if you check it every couple of weeks, you'll find some really good stuff. Like Secret Identity, that was a huge get for me in deluxe edition. So I would just check this every once in a while for books that maybe you weren't even thinking about, but you'll find them. Like Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight Rising. I'm pretty sure this is out of print, Jess. And they're selling it for $11.95. So that's a really good price.
Do we have that?
Yeah, we both have that. Yeah, we reviewed that in our Metal read-through. I'm pretty sure that's out of print if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this is Hamilton Books, everybody.
Yeah, so this is a website.
I'll put it right here in the chat.
You're not going to really find Omnis on here, but you can find some really good deluxe editions and trade paperbacks and some standard size hardcovers. Like Jess, I'm pretty sure you bought this Elektra Ultimate Collection by Rucka.
I did.
For $7.95.
Yeah, that's a heck of a good price.
Right, and so you're going to find a lot of good deals on here.
There's a Frankenstein Agent of Shade. I think that's by Jeff Lemire.
Yeah,
that's hard to find. I think.
Oh, really?
Also, Future Quest. That's a good book. That's a really good book. That's by Jeff Parker.
And yeah, it seems like there's no rhyme or reason to what books they have, but they have some really good books. And some books I'm like, okay, I don't really care that much about it. Like, go for it, Nakamura. But I'm not going to be getting that. But they have some really solid stuff, like the Mike Grell stuff, for like $5.
Oh wow, that's a ton of money. That's a ton of Green Arrow.
On the first page, they had Absolute Luthor and Joker for $29.95. The Absolute edition. That's really cheap.
I've never read that.
Well, it's Luthor and Joker by Azzarello and Lee Bermejo. I'm pretty sure you read Joker. So you can find some really good stuff on here, guys.
Harley Quinn stuff.
We got some Hulk stuff. The Hunt for Wolverine. Pretty sure they still have Superman on here.
Well, there's Iron Man 2020 that was focus of the Iron Man 2020, wasn't that the focus of the
That was the
fifth-
original series, and then Dan Slott and I forget who the artist is. They did they did like a reboot of it for
Okay.
actual 2020. Like they wanted it to come out in 2020.
Okay.
I think it's like set in the future where it's Tony Stark's brother Arno Stark or something, and he is Iron Man 2020. I don't really know a ton about it. Or like
Okay.
Jess, like Marvelocity, they're selling that for $14.95.
And
I
that's
know, like,
all Alex Ross's Marvel art?
Right. I think you were telling me about this, and I'm not
Oh,
someone who
yeah.
loves. I'm not someone who loves art books, but if you're really into art books, I mean, they have Marvel's poster book for $7.95. They have some really good prices on here. See what else they have. Let's skip down to the Superman section. They have Preacher Book 1 for $14.95. Some random mangas that I'll never read. They have a bunch of Superman archives, like Golden Age type stuff, for really cheap. I'm pretty sure Superman for All Seasons Deluxe is out of print. And that's for $6.95.
That's a good price. There's
They have
Superman's Family Clan, my book of the year.
And there's Secret Identity. It's still there for $6.95. Guys, that's a freaking steal.
Wow.
And if you don't have that book, you need to get it right now. That's the best Superman book I have ever read. And everyone
don't
needs it.
agree with that at all. Everyone needs to buy that book.
And that's an unbelievable price.
$7 is out of print.
And I'm pretty sure, is this out of print too, Jess, in hardcover? Superman, the Founding of Superman?
Uh,
You reviewed this recently, along
yeah.
with the rest of Tomasi's
This
run.
is the only place I ever saw it in hardcover, and it was $7. I remember I got that with Momo Soda, Art of Vanderella.
Yeah.
You can let it be on your computer for 2 seconds. It's not gonna haunt your computer.
I just wasn't interested, so I was scrolling. I wasn't trying to like hide it or anything. Let's see what else they got. Like I said, they don't have a massive stock. There's only like 4 pages of books, but if you check every once, like here's another great book, Legend of Wonder Woman. Jess and I both love this book.
Oh yeah,
Origins. It's sad. I'm really annoyed that they're not going to have a second book or more books in that series, but it's still worth the read. Want some Plastic Man books? This is the place to go.
Oh, look at those Plastic Man archives. That's interesting.
You have Teen Titans archives too. Yeah, I got some Thor books. Trigger Man.
I think I got Trigger Man from there.
There's a DC book, Jess. I'm pretty sure you don't like this one because there's animal abuse in it. Under the Moon.
Oh yeah, I never picked that one up. That's the one I didn't get.
Is it cat abuse?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not a dog. We've got 20 dislikes. I'm sorry, guys. Just joking.
Thank you.
They have a lot of spirit books on here. Look at all these. Will Eisner the Spirit. Jess, these are worth $50 and they're selling them for $9.99.
Wow.
You might want to get these, Jess, if you want to get some spirit books.
Can you highlight that Wildstorm celebration of 25 years? That's an expensive book, I think. And they're saying, oh, okay, it's a $30 book. All right. I thought that was a.
I don't see why you'd want it though. It's like like an amalgamation of a bunch of different random issues. I hate those kind of books.
Once again, this is Hamilton Books we're looking at.
Yeah. And that's their stock as of right now.
That okay.
What are you hoping to look at?
X-Men Road to Onslaught #1, I think, is out of print.
And they're selling it for $9.95, sorry.
And you need that if you want to read Onslaught, the Omni. Yeah.
Any questions you want to catch up on?
What's that?
Are there any questions that we missed that we should catch up on?
Here is a good question. Fantasy666. Is it true that most Image Deluxe editions only get 1 printing?
Yep. I would say if you're not like a superstar artist or writer, like Robert Kirkman, those are pretty much evergreen. Invincible, Walking Dead. I would say Brian K. Vaughan pretty much always stays in print. But for the most part, Jess and I have mentioned this before. We have to remember the creators are the ones who are fronting the money for these hardcovers. It's not Image. So they want to make sure they get a return on investment. And so once they're sold out, a lot of times they don't want to put the money back into it to make up more money. Because it's always a risk. You never know what you're going to get back. Like for the most part, Ed Brubaker pretty much always just does one printing. Criminal, I think they're reprinting it because it finally went from Icon to Image, and they wanted to reprint with the Image logo on it in a nicer format. But for the most part, they get one print and that's it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately, I like Peter Panzerfaust. It only got one volume, and it didn't sell well enough for the creator to do a collected edition in hardcover, volume 2 and 3, and so now you got to buy trade paperbacks from Image. That's a good series, and it's never coming out in anything other than volume 1.
Jeff, we have the most people we've ever had in the chat. We have 93 people in the chat.
Woo!
And we have 50
you.
likes, so make sure to hit that like button, guys. That helps us on YouTube.
Like button. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, and for the most part, Image stuff doesn't sell out right away, but I wouldn't sleep on hardcovers for too long.
Yeah.
Like the East and West stuff and Paper Girl. I think Paper Girls will probably get reprinted, but for the most part, try to jump on those relatively quickly within the first couple months and then being available.
This is a good question that I don't know yet, but I want to know, and that is the newer Vampirella trades. I haven't read a bunch of them yet, enough to give you a solid opinion. I have bought them, assuming that I'm going to like them because I like Vampirella. But if you could wait a little bit, I will try and read some of the newer ones and give you my opinion. But that's going to take me a couple months. If you can't wait, maybe you should just buy one and see if you like it to go on with the others, Hunter. I would definitely not buy all of them at once. Because a new creator is going to take her on a different path than the old creators have. So I would try just the first one that you've got in your cart chronologically, get that and try it. And if you like it, then get the others. It's going to be a while before I get to Vampirella. I really like Vampirella. But I'm just not able to get to it yet.
And Lloyd Wong brings up an important point that I didn't realize. He tried to buy some stuff on Hamilton Books right now, and they only ship to U.S. zip codes. So I'm sorry to all of our international viewers. I didn't know that because I live in the U.S., so I wasn't aware of that. So I know we have a big international audience that I just alienated. So I'm sorry. Did you ever see the Vampirella appearance on Comic Book Men, where she came to the shop?
No, I haven't. Who was Vampirella? Who played her?
Oh, maybe I was. It wasn't like a Vampirella show or something. Am I thinking of someone? Maybe I was thinking of someone else. Wasn't there a woman who used to be like in like the Fangoria magazines who had like the big hair and she was like had the really like. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Elvira.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
Oh, all right.
I don't really know the difference between those two. They look exactly the same.
Okay, it has been requested of me. Do a Vampirella read through and advise us. Yes, sir. I love Vampirella. I will give it a shot. I think I have a bunch of her books.
Sorry, Dr. Wolf tickets. I didn't mean to alienate you.
Where'd that go?
And Jess, have you heard of Grendel?
I have, and I read him a long time ago, like the 90s. I can't remember enough to say whether it was. That's by Matt Wagner, right? I think I remember liking it.
Because Lloyd Wong's asking us to read it for
Oh.
Corner.
What Grendel should we read? Is there any current Grendel?
Is it actually easy to find? Because it looks like it's out of print.
Any Grendel?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's looking for.
Oh, okay.
I'll need to do some research on this. I've heard the title before, but I've never actually seen it or anything.
Oh, I see what your issue is, Hunter. So I fear getting them first. I don't know. Does Dynamite? I don't know that Dynamite has an issue with books going out of print that often. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be something good. I gotta finish my Sandman Universe read through and do a video on that this week, and then maybe I could do a Vampirella.
You still have your Dread thing coming up too. Your Dread read through.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of that.
Jess had a lot of read throughs right now.
I do. I'm still in the middle of a 2-year ago Hellboy read through.
And you want to do a Captain America by Brubaker read through soon, and a Goon read through.
Now
You
I
got a
have
lot
to
of
do
readathons.
books go back in print, and I get mad at myself. Everything that I had that used to be a whale is now no longer a whale.
Well, kind of getting back to the topic, Jess, like what led you to form the Omnipups? How did that come to? For those of and tell people what the Omnipups are for those of them who aren't in the group.
Oh, okay. The Omnipups are 4 other like-minded guys who are really nice guys, and I noticed through the group that they would.
This is the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community on Facebook. For those of you who don't know what the group is,
right? I noticed that they would do what I would do. They go out and look for books for other people, out of print books for other people, and that's Eric Fedorchik, Kemi Jacob, Raleigh Smith, and I haven't heard from him in a long time, and that's why I'm blanking on his name. What the heck is his name?
He's a retired Omnipup.
He doesn't Omnipup very much. What the heck? Let's see. His nickname's Rudy. I can't think of his name. Oh, Titus. Titus is his name. Anyway, I noticed that they also would go out and find out-of-print books for cover price for people. And so I just asked them if they wanted to form a group and a chat and see if we could help people find out-of-print books in our respective cities. Kemi's on the East Coast, Raleigh's in Texas, Eric's also on the East Coast, and Titus is down south a little bit. So we have just, if somebody wants a book that they put out there, I'll put in our chat. Have any of you guys seen like Red Lantern 4? That's a book that's out of print that is a trade paperback that probably sold for $19. Was when Charles Soule took over Red Lanterns, and I highly recommend Red Lanterns as a read. That is a great book. But for some reason, Blood Brothers, I think it's called Blood Brothers, number 4 is hard to find. So I will say, have any of you guys seen this? And especially Eric and Kemi go out a lot and beat the bushes. Raleigh has a newborn, or she's about a year old now, so he doesn't get to do it as much. But they'll go out and they'll try and find the books for people, and we'll turn the people, we'll tell the people about it and get the book to them. So it's sort of a give back, pay it forward type of thing we do.
Yeah, that was back when you guys were receiving a lot of requests for Annihilation Omnibus before it was reprinted. That's like all you were being asked for.
I forgot that. We must have got 150 requests for Annihilation.
We can't help all of you. Sorry. There's only so
Yeah,
many books.
yeah. We would regularly put out a list and say, what do you guys want? And Annihilation would always be at the top.
Well, there's a book that you have but didn't like, and I don't think, did you sell that or?
I did. I sold the whole run.
Okay.
Darkhawk broke me, and now there's going to be a Darkhawk TV show.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that. I must have missed that.
On Disney Plus. So all of you guys who are sitting on your Darkhawk #1s from 1993 can now sell them for $7. Yeah, he's getting his own show, and that part I don't even remember when it happened. Annihilation was kind of dull. Annihilation Conquest was interesting. Then we got into the King's storyline, and it really dropped off for me. I didn't even make it to the 5th book in that cosmic.
Was that Realm of Kings or War of Kings or
War of Kings? Yeah, I don't even have them to look at anymore. So because I got rid of them, I really found them ponderous. Darkhawk was so boring; it just broke me. I said, forget it. I'm not reading this. I have too much other stuff to do.
I've heard the highlight of that run is Annihilation Conquest.
I agree with that. Yeah, and the 2 books after that were pretty dull, and I never got to the 5th book because I sold the whole set.
Apparently, if we get 70 likes, Jess is going to sell his Captain Britain Omni to Michael Eamon.
That is 100% not true. That book is never getting sold. I actually want to read that book.
And Omar Reyes has a really good question for us, Jess. Best cosmic story for either DC or Marvel? I would say for DC, it's definitely Green Lanterns by Jeff Johns. I don't see how you could really beat that.
I agree.
I'm not a huge cosmic guy. I'm more of a down-to-earth, gritty crime corner kind of guy.
Yeah.
Batman, Daredevil. I just don't have that many. Oh, you know what's a really great cosmic book? Is Black Bolt by Saladin Ahmed. I love that book. That's a good book. I had never read an Inhuman book at all. It's a great introduction to that character.
That's a really good book. Silver Surfer by Dan Slott. That'll be my.
I missed that one.
That'll be my Marvel cosmic book.
I remember it might have been last year. Remember when IST randomly had a bunch of they had a restock of Silver Surfer by Slott and ended up they didn't have any. It was a mistake, and so I bought it and I got refunded. I was like, oh come on, I really.
I remember that.
That was frustrating. I thought they had some in stock, but it turns out it was like a computer malfunction or a computer mistake.
Oh God.
And like literally like hundreds of people.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of people tried to buy it. Not just me.
Right.
Joe Chip says, "As authority/planetary considered cosmic?" I guess I was more thinking of Marvel and DC, like DC like main DC characters. But I would say
continuity. I think authority and planetary are in their own.
They're interdimensional.
They're in their own genre.
It's more interdimensional than cosmic. I would say.
Really is.
Everyone needs to read those books if you haven't, though. Those are fantastic.
Jeff Rattle considers Infinity Gauntlet the best Marvel cosmic. Is that a picture of Fletch?
It's Chevy Chase.
I know. Is that him as Fletch?
Did he wear an eye patch in Fletch? I don't remember that. I never saw Fletch live, so I'm not sure. I only saw the first Fletch.
Movies.
I love that movie. I think I'll watch that again. Kenny Crayley has a question for you, Jess, about Superman.
Post the death and return of Superman back from 95-99. I thought the Superman titles prior to Jeff Loeb coming in the early 2000s struggled a bit. I agree with that. I think that Superman of the later 2000s, like maybe 2008, that's when I really got back into reading him and enjoying him. Oh, it's from Spies Like Us. I never saw that.
I never saw that either.
But it already makes me crack up, so maybe I should see it. Yeah, I agree with you, Kenny.
What's your favorite Chevy Chase movie?
Caddyshack.
I would say Christmas Vacation is probably my favorite.
That's a classic.
Fletch is a second. But You know the classic rivalry between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray?
Yes.
Who's your favorite out of the two? I would say Bill Murray by a long shot. I love Bill Murray. I do like Chevy Chase though, but I think Bill Murray's my favorite.
I love the fact that they came to blows like backstage at Saturday Night Live or something.
Yeah, there was because didn't Bill Murray replace him? Or
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
yeah.
Like he left and then he came on and filled his spot.
And they came to, or maybe they came to blows at Caddyshack. They were both in Caddyshack.
Oh, right, that's true. I'm not sure.
They got into a major fight.
My favorite Bill Murray movie is What About Bob? I love that movie. Such a good movie.
That is a classic.
That's one of those quotable movies, in my opinion. There's so many good lines in that movie.
Caddyshack's probably my favorite Bill Murray movie too.
I've never seen Caddyshack. I have to see it.
Blah!
I know.
And Rodney Dangerfield movie, probably Caddyshack. I actually have to get going. I have 2 minutes to eat dinner before I have a Patreon show for Omnibros. This has been a blast. I'm glad that we had a chance to do it. I'm sorry to Back to School. Yeah, that's a great that is a great Rodney Dangerfield movie. I'm sorry, Kristen, that you are not feeling well. I hope you feel better. I'm glad that the Minister of Comics could step in and fill in. This was a good topic. I hope we covered some ground that would help you guys find hard to find and out of print books. If you have tips on how to find them, you can leave them in the comments. Please leave a like and please leave a comment and feel free to subscribe. And do you have anything to add, Minister of Comics? Thank you for joining.
I would say, well, we're having this show a lot recently because, Kristen had to miss today, but we'll be back on next Saturday for our TKO Wave 3 reviews, which we got some review copies in from TKO. We'll be doing that on Baturdays. And obviously, we always talk about the topic for 30 minutes, and then the rest of the show is just talking to you guys. So if you're not interested in TKO books, still show up for that.
Yeah.
And then on December 4th, we'll be doing Crime Corner as well. So show up for that as well.
Yeah. The first 30 minutes of every Baturdays is usually, except today we got right into the topic. Usually we yap for the first 30 minutes.
Right. And then we usually yap for the last hour of the show too.
Oh, okay. Hunter Rose bought the Vampirilla trade paperbacks. Okay, you tell us how they are. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you to the chat. Peace and love. Peace and love.
See you guys.